Chelsea have approached Manchester United over a potential loan-to-buy deal for Jadon Sancho. PSG reportedly forced to sell Manuel Ugarte before the end of the summer transfer window, and United have been offered the chance to sign Verratti. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this morning's show, but before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,500 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 40k subscribers. We're very, very close now. Make sure you get involved. It's completely free content and everyone is welcome. Right, let's get straight on into this because there is so much news to bring you guys today. And I want to start the show off by asking for this. I want you to give me your score predictions for the Manchester United versus Fulham game, which obviously is tonight, 8 o'clock kickoff. Get in the comment section now. Let me know your score predictions. I'm going to go with 3-0 Manchester United. I'm feeling confident. I think, obviously, the fact that we've got De Ligt, we've got Mazraoui, obviously, Joshua Zirkzee should be available to some extent. I think we're looking pretty strong. I think we're looking solid. There isn't that many injuries to worry about. So, yeah, I'm going 3-0 Manchester United. I don't think Fulham have really strengthened this summer so far. Obviously, they lost Paulinho, who was their best player. So, yeah, I'm going 3-0 Manchester United. But I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, what is your score prediction for the game today? I'm just double checking if Fulham have actually signed anybody because I don't think they have they? I might be wrong though. Let me just double check. I don't want to get my facts wrong here. Let's have a look. Fulham have signed Emile Smith-Rowe and that's it pretty much. And they lost Paulinho and they lost Tosin. So they've lost two of their best players. Their starting 11 or their proposed starting 11, obviously Paulinho's gone. They've still got Traore. Yeah, I'm going 3-0 Manchester United. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling very, very confident. I think we'll go with a pretty attacking lineup. Lineup-wise, I would go with this. I'd go with Andre Onana in goal. Left back, I'd do Diogo Dalot. I'd do Martinez and De Ligt. I'd do Mazraoui at right back. Midfield three, I'm going for Kobe Mainoo, Mount and Bruno. I think we should do an attacking midfield three. And then up top, I'm going with Garnacho on the left. I would go with Zirkzee down the middle if he's fit, and then I'd go with Ahmad on the right. So that's my score prediction. That's my predicted lineup. I'm expecting Manchester United to go out 8 o'clock kickoff under the floodlights at Old Trafford to go out and really put in a performance against Fulham tonight. You know, we need to show a statement of intent. So I'm feeling confident, but maybe I'm being a bit naive. I just don't think that Fulham have really strengthened, and they've lost Paulinho, who was their best player, and they've lost Tosin, who was their best defender. So that's why I'm feeling confident today. But obviously, you can let me know in the comment section, what is your score predictions for that game? Right, let's jump straight into the transfer news, though, because there is so much to get into on the show this morning. And I want to start the show by talking about Manuel Ugarte. So this is coming out from Fabrizio Romano this morning. He is reporting that Manchester United's focus is to sign Manuel Ugarte. He says that Manuel Ugarte is pushing to join Manchester United and wants a solution with Manchester United as soon as possible. Fabrizio has confirmed that constant conversations are going on between PSG and Manchester United. So it's very, very clear to see that Manuel Ugarte is the number one target for Manchester United. That's who they want. That's who they're negotiating for. And at the moment, it's all just down to getting the price to a fee which suits Manchester United, which is believed to be United want to pay somewhere around £40 million, 50 million euros. PSG still asking for £50 million or 60 million euros. So there's not a massive gap in valuation. But I think, as long as we don't lose this game tonight, as long as we get Manuel Ugarte for a discounted price, I think everyone would say it's good business, That's the most important thing here. Like, we need to win the game tonight against Fulham, and we need to ensure that we don't end up paying the full asking price for PSG, because otherwise the fan base are going to be sat here saying, why did we not sign Manuel Ugarte 6 weeks ago? Like, why have we spent the whole window waiting to then pay the money they wanted anyway? And I'm pretty confident that Ineos won't do that, because they haven't done that on any of the transfers this summer. Obviously, De Ligt we got for under the asking price. Mazraoui we got for under the asking price. Zirkzee, I think, was an absolute bargain. And Lenny Yoro, I think, was probably the asking price, but we had to pay that to secure that signing. So, yeah, I'm expecting this one to get over the line. Let me read out the rest of the stories on Manuel Ugarte this morning. Sky Sports, Darmish Seth from Sky Sports is reporting this morning that apparently PSG are under pressure to sell Manuel Ugarte because obviously they've signed João Neves. They need to bring in funds and they need to move out some of their midfield players at the moment. So they've got lots and lots of players in the midfield area. Manuel Ugarte is clearly surplus to requirements at PSG. And apparently now there is a certain level of urgency from PSG to move on Manuel Ugarte. So obviously, as soon as we get more news on that, I will keep you updated. But as it stands, at the point of recording this video, it does look like Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United is the one to keep an eye on. Okay, let's move over to Scott McTominay then, shall we? Because I think this story shocked a lot of people yesterday. And it is that apparently Napoli are in advanced negotiations with Manchester United over a deal for Scott McTominay. Manchester United have already rejected one offer from Napoli, which was a loan. Why would we loan out McTominay? Like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Manchester United have said to Napoli that we're willing to sell him, but you've got to give us the 25-30 million that we've asked for. Obviously, Napoli is in Italy, so they do euros. Apparently, we've asked them for 30 million euros. Which I think is perfectly reasonable. You know, he's 27 years of age. He is a full Scottish international. He's played a lot of football for Manchester United over the last, 6 or 7 years. And the thing that we always seem to forget is that Antonio Conte is the Napoli manager. And there was lots and lots of talks like years and years and years ago when Conte was at at Chelsea, that apparently he wanted to bring in Scott McTominay. So yeah, you can see where these stories have come from. You can see where the, where the links have begun. I would take 30 million euros for McTominay. I think that's probably his market value. When you look at how the market is at the moment and you see people like Emile Smith-Rowe going for 40 million euros, you see people like Conor Gallagher having bids accepted for 40 million euros from Atletico. Like, he has to be worth 30 million euros, doesn't he? Like, why would he not be? If all of those other players I've just listed are worth around 30 to 40 million, then McTominay has to be in that same wage bracket, same transfer bracket for me. But it'd be interesting to see what you guys have to say on that one. Like, how much do you think McTominay is actually worth? Would you sell him to Napoli? Do you think he'd be a big miss? For me personally, I like McTominay. I like him when he's further up the pitch. But I think in a more number 6 role, or even as a box-to-box midfielder, I don't think he's good enough, to be honest. I think we have to have him further up the pitch, and he's never going to get played further up the pitch. We've got Højlund, we've got Xerxes, we've got Rashford, we've got Bruno, Mount. And I think that, to be honest, Scott McTominay is a little bit wasted when you play him in a more deeper role. So, yeah, as much as I like McTominay's work rate, I like his love for the club. I love that he doesn't, let his head drop and all the rest of it. I still think that moving him on is the best thing for Manchester United, because the alternative is giving McTominay a new contract. He turns 28, I think, next month. He's going to want a 3 or 4 year contract. So you'd be giving McTominay an extra 3 or 4 years at the age of 28. And for me personally, since McTominay started playing in the first team, I don't think he's really improved. I think he's just kind of stayed the same. If you look back over the last kind of 6 or 7 years, can we honestly say that McTominay has, improved season on season? Now, you could argue that last season he got, I think, 10 goals in all competitions, which was impressive. I think he was our second highest goal scorer last season. But most of those goals were, in the last minute, he'd come off the bench and just cause trouble in the box and get a goal. Like, he was never actually scoring from his real position. Erik ten Hag was just chucking him on as an extra striker. And he was, popping up and getting goals. So it's a bit of a strange comparison to say, oh, he got 10 goals last season, but those 10 goals weren't from his actual position. It was from, in the last minute of a game, Manchester United desperate for a goal, and Erik ten Hag's like, I'm going to chuck him up as an extra striker. So yeah, there's quite a big difference there. But I've got nothing bad to say about McTominay. I like his work rate. I like him as a person. I think he seems like a good lad. I think he seems like, an honest footballer. But I just think for where Manchester United are at the moment, and the fact that we could potentially get 30 million euros for him, I think you have to explore that. And even for McTominay as well, Napoli is a massive football club. To go and play for Napoli is pretty incredible. So yeah, hopefully he gets his move. Obviously, as soon as I get any more news on that one, I will go live, obviously. We've got over 700 people watching live now, which is really, really good. We've only got 100 likes, though. If everyone could do me a little favour and smash a like, that'd be really, really appreciated. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm live every single day at 8:30, 1:30 and 6 p.m. UK time. So make sure you subscribe. We're on the road to 40k subscribers. We are very, very close now. When we hit 40k, I'm going to be giving out 2 brand new Manchester United shirts. So make sure you go and subscribe. The goal is to hit 40k by the end of August. So let's make sure we do that. Go and subscribe, go and get involved. And I can see loads of people in the chat asking about my fantasy football league. So if anybody wants to join the fantasy football league, I will put a link to that in the chat. Or you can just search it. If you go on the fantasy football app and you type in Daily Red Devil, you should be able to find it. So yeah, it's over there. We're going to do prizes. If anybody can't find it, let me know. I'm going to put this into the chat now. So fantasy football. Oh, I've just done the wrong thing. Let me just get you the link. And if the mods as well, if the mods could just keep posting this link in the chat, that would be good. So I'll just put fantasy football code is that. So yeah, if the mods could just post fantasy football code just a couple of times so people can see it, that would be great. Obviously, the season starts today, so you need to join the league today, really, to get in there. So yeah, that's the latest on McTominay. We've spoke about Jadon Sancho, and we have spoke about... Sorry, we haven't spoke about Jadon Sancho. We'll talk about him in a minute. Let's talk a little bit about Verratti, though, shall we? Because this one, I'll be honest, caught me by surprise. I'll react to it in a minute, but let's bring you the news before. I give you my reaction. So, in relation to Verratti, this is coming out from multiple different people this morning, and the headline is that apparently Manchester United have been offered the chance to sign Verratti this summer. Obviously, he's currently playing in Saudi Arabia for Al Arabiya SC. I don't know, never heard of them. Verratti's 31 years of age. He's available for around 20 million euros. He's got 1 year left on his contract. If this was like 5 years ago, I would be like, this is an amazing deal. Let's get Verratti. Like, I'd be really, really excited. But it's 2024 now. Verratti's 31. Like, for me, Verratti is a no. I don't think so for me personally. But it'd be interesting to see what you guys think. Like, would you like to see Verratti at Manchester United? He's being linked to Liverpool as well. Obviously, we need a central midfielder. So that's where these stories have come from. I'll be honest, since Verratti has gone to Saudi, I have literally not heard his name mentioned once. I know nothing about Verratti anymore. Obviously, at PSG, he was a pretty good player. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it's a no. But maybe there's people who watch the Saudi league who are like, you know what, Verratti could do a job. He's a good player. But signing a 31-year-old Verratti, who literally turns 32 next month, probably on absolutely astronomical wages, doesn't really sound like progressive planning for the future. You know, like, you may as well just keep Eriksen if you're going to do that. You may as well keep, you know, some of our older midfielders. Yeah, so for me, it's a no. I personally wouldn't go for Verratti. I just think he's pretty average. Now, anyway, obviously, when he was in his prime, he was a quality player. But the fact that he's playing in the Saudi league now, and the fact that, you know, I feel like he's maybe past his best a little bit. And I think the reason why Manchester United have been linked to him so heavily today and yesterday is because of the fact that his agent is the same agent as De Ligt and Mazraoui. So you can see where these stories come from. Obviously, we've just signed De Ligt and Mazraoui. They were both with the same agent, a woman called Rafaela Pimenta. And she is also Marco Verratti's agent. So it kind of all makes sense. It makes sense where these stories come from, you know? But for me personally, Verratti is a definite no. I wouldn't go anywhere near him. I just think if this was, as I said, like 6 or 7 years ago, the thought of Verratti would really, really excite me. But in 2024, when our plan is to be signing people under the age of 25, what is the logic of signing a 32-year-old Verratti, you know, for crazy, crazy money? Like, I mean, the transfer fee probably wouldn't be that big, but his wages are obviously going to be absolutely mad, isn't it? We all know that. Obviously, we'd never pay the wages of the Saudi Pro League, but I mean, Verratti at the moment, right, in Saudi Arabia, is earning £576,000 a week. And then before that, when he was at PSG, he was on 250. So, you know, even if we paid him what he was earning at PSG, 250k a week for Verratti, like, I just don't think that's a good deal, to be honest. I don't. There's no resale value. There's no longevity. There's no kind of like plan in place. It's like an emergency signing, isn't it? The same with Rabiot. The same with Amrabat. Like, Manchester United clearly don't want those players because otherwise they would have signed them by now. Rabiot's been available all window, and Manchester United haven't gone and done a deal for him. Amrabat's been available all window, and Manchester United haven't done a deal for him. So, yeah, I think that these are all kind of like, you know, the plan B, the plan C options. And I would be honestly stunned if Manchester United go for Verratti, you know. But it is a news show. Obviously, I bring you guys the news. And the news this morning is that apparently Manchester United have been offered the chance to sign Verratti from his agent, Rafael Pimenta, who, as I said, is the same agent as De Ligt and Mazraoui. So that's the story there. Yeah, obviously, if anything else breaks on that, obviously I'll go live and bring you the story. But at the moment, I feel like it's very much just agent driven. It's, you know, his agent trying to get him a move effectively. He probably wants to come back and play in the top leagues again, you know. So yeah, for me, it's a no, but we'll wait and see what happens. Moving on from that though, let's move on to... let's talk about Jadon Sancho then, shall we? Because this story, I'll be honest, completely caught me by surprise this morning. This is being reported by like 3 or 4 different people in the UK this morning, and they are reporting that apparently Chelsea have approached Manchester United to sign Jadon Sancho and are said to be preparing an offer for him. It says that Chelsea are interested in a loan deal with an obligation to buy, plus will pay his full salary for the next 12 months. So effectively, he'd go to Chelsea for 1 year. At the end of the year, he would then join on a permanent deal. I mean, Chelsea are literally buying everybody. And like, this literally doesn't surprise me at all that Chelsea would want Jadon Sancho. I don't really see how he would even fit in their team. They've just signed Pedro Neto. They've got Mudryk. They've got loads of other players that I've probably forgotten about on their wings. Raheem Sterling's still there. It seems a little bit strange, but maybe they see it as an opportunity on the market. Jadon Sancho is a good player. If you get a happy Jadon Sancho, you know, that's a really, really good asset to have in your club. Would Manchester United do this deal with Jadon Sancho? I don't know. I mean, that would be them strengthening a rival. But yeah, let's see what people think. Like, would you be happy to loan Jadon Sancho to Chelsea? Let's do this. Should United loan Sancho to Chelsea? Let's see what people think. Obviously, if you're watching back on repeat, you can let me know in the comments section below. But the question is this: should Jadon Sancho be loaned out to Chelsea? Let me know your thoughts. I don't know. It's a weird one because, like, Chelsea are a rival to us, aren't they? They finished above us last season, and if we sold Sancho to Chelsea, we are directly strengthening a direct rival for top 4, top 5. So it's a hard one. I don't know. If they were going to give us like 60, 70 million euros at the end of the loan deal, then obviously you'd have to consider it. But I think it all depends on how much they're willing to pay as part of the obligation to buy. And my feeling is it's going to be quite low, because the problem we have with Sancho, which I've said to you guys before, is he's only got 2 years left on his contract. And there is no option for an extra year, I don't think. Let me just double check. I'm 99% sure that Sancho has 2 years left. And at the end of those 2 years, like, there isn't the option to stay for 1 extra year. So what that effectively means is, right, if we don't sell him this summer, then this time next year, he'll have 1 year left on his contract. And knowing Jadon Sancho's character, there is no way on earth he's going to sign a new contract to Manchester United. He will look at the situation next summer and say, you know what? I've got 1 year left on my deal. I'll stay here for 1 year and then I will leave for free and get a massive, you know, wage package from somebody else. I am wrong, actually. There is the option for the further year. So they could trigger the option for the further year, loan him to Chelsea, and then sell him to Chelsea next summer. But yeah, I think it all depends for me on how much Manchester United would be getting for the obligation to buy. Like, it would have to be 60, 70 million euros. Like, it has to be somewhere around that kind of figure, because Chelsea are spending eye-watering amounts of money on players at the moment. Like, all you have to go and do is look at Chelsea's signings over the last 2 or 3 seasons. They spent over 100 million on Enzo Fernandez. And I know Enzo Fernandez had 1 good World Cup, but you can't honestly tell me that Enzo Fernandez is worth 100 million pounds. Like, no way. They spent 60 million euros on Pedro Neto, who was injured most of the time. If Pedro Neto is worth 60 million at the age of 24, then I'm sorry, Jadon Sancho is worth 60 million at the age of 24. Like, would you not agree? So I have no problem with Chelsea buying Jadon Sancho. I just think the price has to be right, and I think the price has to reflect how much money they spend on other players. You know, we need to feel like we're actually getting a good deal here. That Chelsea aren't like doing us a favour. I mean, you go to the summer before for Chelsea, right? Their biggest signing this summer has only been 60 million euros, but you go to the year before that, they spent 116 million on Moises Caicedo. Like crazy, crazy money. They spent 62 million on Romeo Lavia. Mad. So yeah, for me, as long as we got like 60, 70 million euros, I would be happy with it. But anything less than that, I just don't see the point, because I could imagine Sancho going to Chelsea and doing really well, to be honest. You know, going back to London, obviously he was born in London. Yeah, I think he could go there and do well. People are asking about a watch along for the game tonight. I'm not going to be doing a watch along for the game tonight, but I will go live as soon as the game finishes. So literally as soon as the match finishes, I will go live. Jin says, how can anybody be positive about tonight when our manager is publicly saying we are not ready? I think that quote's been blown out of proportion, to be honest. But obviously you can perceive it however you want, because I think the actual answer to that question was slightly different versus... Sorry, the question was slightly different, if that makes sense. Yeah, let me just have a look if I can find what the question was. Because I saw some people talking about that on Twitter earlier, saying that effectively people have kind of blown that quote out of proportion. Let's have a look. So he's saying we're not ready. Okay, let me see what the actual question was here, because a lot of the time you just read the quote. You don't read the question that's been asked, and a lot of the time they make it seem like... I think what he was saying is, obviously, a lot of the players have only been back for 1 or 2 weeks of pre-season, which is a fact. That's the same for every single club. You know, obviously, people like Martinez, people like, obviously, Lenny Yoro's injured, people like Kobe Mainu, like a lot of those first-team players, Bruno, have only been training for like 1 or 2 weeks and didn't go on the pre-season tour. So I think that's more what he means there, that we didn't have a full pre-season, you know? But... that's the same for everybody, and I don't think Erik ten Hag's trying to make excuses, to be honest. I would be very, very surprised. And I'm expecting big things today. I'm expecting a big win. So yeah, we'll wait and see what happened there. Sonny says he meant we're not ready because we're still missing positions. Yeah, exactly. That's what he meant. And obviously it goes on Twitter. People read it, you know, and it gets blown out of proportion, you know. That's the situation here. So I think we are ready. I think we've got a good enough squad to beat Fulham. We still need a CDM. And as Lord Ashley says, like, the context is key. You know, a lot of people just see a part of a quote. They don't see what the question was. The question might have been, you had a really short pre-season. A lot of your players only just came back. You know, you've got some injuries. And then he might have said, yes, you're right, we're not ready, you know? But people just see it as Erik ten Hag says, we're not ready, which is a very big difference. And as somebody said in the chat, like, the context is the most important thing here. And a lot of the time, you know, these stories you see on the internet miss out the context. They miss out the key facts. They just go with the sensational headlines to clicks, to cause a reaction, to start talking points. Like, that's what the media effectively tries to do. You know, that's their primary goal, is to get reactions. And that's obviously what they've done, because there's some people in the chat today who are obviously really, really upset by the fact that Erik ten Hag has supposedly said that we're not ready for the game against Fulham tonight. At the end of the day, right, Erik ten Hag's the one who is on the pitch. He's the one who's seeing what's in front of him. He's the one who knows the exact fitness levels of every single player. We don't, you know? We only see 90 minutes of football every week, and that's it. He's there every single day watching people. So, yeah. There's some breaking news coming out here from Laurie Whitwell on Manuel Ugarte quickly. He's reporting that a solution for Manuel Ugarte is still possible closer to the transfer deadline. He says, although United are still insisting they will not pay PSG's asking price, which is kind of news we already knew, but that's good. Big ups to... I can just see it on my phone, but I can't see it in the chat. Big ups to Lord Ashley Rogers, who's just gifted 1 membership to the Daily Red Devil Members Club. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for your support, my friend. Whoever just got gifted the membership, please make sure to say thank you in the chat. Really, really appreciate that. Ginge says, Fulham will be tough. Believe me, they've made good signings. Fulham have made literally next to no signings at all. They've signed Emile Smith-Rowe, who's an attacking midfielder. They lost Paulinho, who was their best player, and they lost Tosin, who was their best defender. I would say that Fulham are weaker than they were last season, without a shadow of a doubt. Paulinho's gone, Willian's gone, Tosin's gone, and the only notable signing they've made is Emile Smith-Rowe. I honestly think that our midfield will be better than Fulham's tonight. You know, if Paulinho was there, it's a whole different matter. I'm confident tonight. I think we're gonna thrash them. I reckon. I'm going 3-0. 8 o'clock. The mood at Old Trafford tonight will be absolutely electric. Obviously, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Lenny Yoro, Xerxes, they'll be all presented to the Old Trafford crowd before the game. That will really get people, you know, riled up. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff under the floodlights. I'm telling you, the atmosphere at Old Trafford tonight will probably be one of the bests of the whole season. It always is for the opening game because the mood is high. People are positive. So, yeah. I'm confident that Manchester United will give Fulham a real good going tonight. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens with that one. What else have we got in the chat? We've got over 1,500 people watching live now, which is amazing. We've only got 300 likes, though. So if everyone could do me a small favour and smash a like, that'd be really, really appreciated. Let's try and get to 1,500 by the end. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe. We're very close to 40k now, guys. Once we hit 40k, I will be giving out 2 Manchester United shirts. So make sure you go and do that. I'm just going to see if there's any other news to bring you this morning. Obviously, we're going to be live a lot today because it's it's a game day. So I'm not probably going to be on the video for too long. Because we'll be live at lunchtime, we'll be live at 6, we'll be live after the game as well. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very busy day for Manchester United today. And on that note, I think I might end the video here because I've gone through everything I had planned, so I don't want to just, rattle on for the sake of it. But I will be back at 1:30, I'll be back at 6, and I will be back straight after the game as well. So there'll be 3 more shows for you guys today. And if anything breaks if anything breaks at any point today, I go live immediately. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Hit the like button before you leave. This has been Daily Red Devil. I'll be back at 1:30. Bye for now.